Hey guys, it's IlonkaSims here, and I am back with another part of my renovation series. So in this one, I am finally getting around to renovating the park in San Myshuno. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so we have this park. I think it's called the Central Park, and not just a park, but it's a park. And from the first time I saw it, I didn't really like it. Just my honest opinion, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's too much, I guess, meadow for me. There's not much you can do in The Sims 4 with just a grass field at this point, and I don't like seeing just the plain grass field either. So I decided back then that I wanted to give it an update, and it took a while, but I finally got around to it. And one of the main things I was thinking is that I wanted to give it a kind of an Asian feel. So we're starting with giving this this main building, I suppose, a more Asian feel, curving the roofs, going with the kind of the red colors all around. And you'll see in a sec, I find these whatever they're called from the Vampire Stuff Pack that you put above the fences, and they look so good for this kind of feel that I was going for. So I was really happy with that. So I'm just messing around with this building for a little bit, just as a starting point, seeing where to go. I thought putting the walls in red was maybe a bit too much, so I end up going with some white or light grey walls, and then you'll see that when I start putting windows in and all that, they will be with red trims, so it will still look pretty good. I've done a kind of a Japanese park in the past, which looked okay. Not ideal necessarily, but it looked pretty good. And yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I guess that's what's most important. And I kind of just went with the same kind of style for this building in particular. Only with some more roof decorations, because I didn't really use them back then. But I have done so in another building. I can speak, guys. But yeah, I'm just messing around. I realized that I'd messed up the roofing, which meant that I'd messed up the entire build, but I fixed it, so it's fine. And as it is right now, I don't change too much. We keep this little, I don't know what they're called. I keep forgetting words for some reason, but I keep this little building. I tried to do some funky things with the roof. It wasn't working very well. So I end up going with a more simple roof, but we keep that, and we keep the wedding area, and the inside building, the bigger building, is still more of a reception area for if you're planning a wedding in this, in the meadows, which aren't so much meadows anymore by the time I get done with it, but you get the idea. I initially thought about using this red floor, but it was again too much, so we went with some simple black flooring instead. Changing it up a little bit here so that we have the nice, I don't know, so that it goes the right way that I would want it to, I guess you can say. And just trying to figure out which windows to use. We use different ones down here from the ones we've used upstairs, but I like it, so that's good. Putting in some more doors, because I figured having more doors in there could not be a bad thing. And we put in the big fountain from the romantic garden stuff pack, I think it is, because I like it better than the simple gardens. It's bigger, you can sit on the side, I think your kids can play in it, things like that. It's just, it's good. And then I realized, you know what, I want water features around, because I think fountains are fun and they just help if you're doing landscaping things. I'm not the best in terms of landscaping, but it does help a lot in my opinion. So we put in a fountain here in the beginning, with some pebble water, I guess, I don't know. Messing around with some different fountain trims. You'll see that I start off a little bit, I start putting blocks around the place, which is definitely a thing that I do way too much probably. And I started off with the black, and I'm not quite sure why. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what? Nope. It was too much. I went with the kind of very bluish gray, and I still went, nope, I just want the normal color. It just makes more sense to me. Possibly because I'm just used to it, I don't know, but I just wanted it to be this simple color walk, I guess. I wasn't quite feeling the black. They look like volcanic rocks, which doesn't really make sense, so we keep it a bit more, I don't know, simple in a way. Also, the one thing I wish we had was more rocks, because I've been using them so much lately, as it's tricky getting things to not look repetitive with only 5 different rocks. There you go. But yeah, we start here with doing some of the gardening, or landscaping, whatever you want to call it, and thinking about what plants to put in. I wanted to keep it quite simple. I didn't want to use too much, too many different things. I end up using, you know, bamboo trees. This tree, I think it's called like a lollipop tree, I don't know, but it's fun, and it kind of fits the vibe of the Asian kind of thing. I use these red flowers, I use some lavender, I use some whatever it is from the Granite Falls pack. Not sure, and just a basic undergrowth kind of thing. And of course in the fountain we have some water lilies and a fountain, an actual like water fountain. And that's about it. That's basically what I use for the entire park. Let's just call it a park. I think it's officially a park. So yeah, that's basically all I use for the park, which is fine. I think it actually ends up looking pretty good. So I was quite happy with that. And then I started looking at these lights. I wanted to change them again into something that just fit a bit better with the whole Asian kind of thing. And I know there's bigger wet lanterns, but it was too much wet in my opinion. So I changed it up a little bit. And then I realized also that the plants they had on the side of the pathways before were different as soon as you kind of went away from the fountain, which I wasn't a fan of, so I changed it so that it's all the same kind of thing. Putting some rocks around this tree instead, and putting some plants and things in there as well, so that you don't just see the dirt, which is kind of blah to see, I think, in my opinion. And again, just continuing the same thing along the pathway here, and ending it off with these big red flowers, which is nice. The red really helps, I think. And then going around, just doing some more landscaping, putting more shrubs or whatever the ground cover thing is around, putting some trees around, some plants, some flowers, and it works really well. I think I prefer this over having just a few simple flowers or shrubs next to the pathways. Just makes the place feel more lively, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah, I like it. And I'm messing around with some different floors. I considered using the Vampire Pex flooring, but I looked at it and I went, you know what? There's too much dimension to it, if that makes sense. It looks a little bit too realistic for the typical Sims 4 look, so I kind of don't like it. It looks okay when you use it indoors, but outdoors there's too much realism to it, I guess, which sounds silly, but the Sims 4 is a very cartoony game, and I know there's people that are not a fan of it and they want to change it, and they do so with CC, but I don't like using CC, and I really like the cartoony look of the Sims 4, so I tend to also stick to the things that look cartoony. So yeah, going around here to the wedding area, changing out the wedding arch, changing out the chairs as well. I struggled for a bit. I wasn't too sure about using the Spade chairs initially, but I think I stuck with them in the end, which is fine. I think it works. And I wanted here to still have the water features that we had already, and which I put here behind the wedding area, which I think is actually really cute. I end up putting like a water fountain in there as well behind the wedding arch, like a long time from when you're watching this, but I do end up putting that in, and it works. I also was not a fan of these hedges. I get the idea of trying to make the area separate from the rest of the park, but at the same time it was too closed off. I wasn't a huge fan, and I ended up just putting in a fence so that it is kind of closed off without it actually obstructing your view, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah, I was quite happy with that. It's just a fence that's kind of just plopped on any shrubbery that was there, I guess, but it works. I'm happy with it. And again, just sticking with the same plants and flowers and putting them around there. I'll end up putting some rocks in and everything as well, because I figured, you know what, if you want to have your wedding at a park, I'm guessing you want it at the park because it's outdoors and because there's plants and things. If you didn't want that, you probably wouldn't have it at a park, so I stuck with that. And my voice is dying. Help. It's okay, I think. But yeah, I figured we should keep it just with that. Don't make the wedding area too, I don't know, fancy, I guess. I mean, it is kind of fancy. We have the piano there, obviously, but at the same time, that's just the way it was supposed to look, I think. I just want it to fit with the whole park wedding thing. And putting some flower petals on there, because why not? That's the only thing I can think of using them for. Like, I suppose you could put them in a bedroom or something, but it's a bit weird, I think. I guess I'm not much of a romantic. And I'm just placing some rocks on here just to see if it was working. I'll have to put some more shrubs around, moving some of the lanterns. And I have to say, I love these lanterns just standing on the ground. It's really cute. And you'll see that it works, in my opinion. I hope that everyone agrees. If you don't, then that kind of sucks, but I really liked it. There was a bit of a cut there because I figured I'd do some of the placing rocks and simple shrubs around the fountain without recording it, because it's not an interesting thing to watch. I'm sure none of you want to see me place rocks and shrubs for 10 minutes. It's not the best use of your time. But again, I guess watching YouTube videos is generally not the best use of your time. But that's beside the point. Yeah, I just decided to not record that and just do it off screen for a bit, because it's just a really tedious thing, and watching it isn't very interesting. And then I make this little sitting area here. I built an island in there because I thought the island was cute. And we put a fountain on there. We have a llama vampire flying thing, whatever it is. We have some statues over there. We have one of the lollipop trees, or whatever. And it works. And I'm finishing off the landscaping here around the pathways, putting in the flowers, putting in some lavender, some shrubs, whatever, and just finishing off that bit of the build. So there's not too much landscaping left to do. I didn't want to overdo it. Like, they are called meadows, so I guess there has to be at least some just grass. But I wanted to limit it. And I think the water features really helped with that. I really like the look of it. It took a while to get the right kind of shape and everything, but it worked. Putting, again, a seat over there. Using these lanterns instead of anything more, I guess, fancy as a light. And putting some rocks on there as well. Changing up the pathways a little bit from what they were before, so that they're not quite as harsh. And a bit more organic looking, which I think helps a lot as well. And in these corners, where we have whatever we want to call this, a crossing, sort of. Just, again, putting some landscaping, which helps, in my opinion. Putting in these tiny lights that we have at the beginning of the build as well. And putting in, of course, one of these pink trees, which, again, just feel very, I guess, Japanese. I'm not quite sure about, like, Asian particulars, the countries themselves. I don't know too much. I'm from Europe. I've never been, well, I have been in Asia actually, but it was a stopover on a flight, so that doesn't really count. But yeah, the pink trees work. Let's keep it at that. And again, here just finishing off the landscaping around it, so it's not just shrubs, and that worked. It really helps, I think. And then I figured here we have to do the same thing with the pathway that we did on the other side. I considered putting some lanterns in the little, I don't know, thingy that we're looking at now, but it wasn't really working. So changed that. I wanted to put in just some seats, and I was like, this is kind of ugh as well, not really working. And then I realized, you know what, this would be a really nice painting spot. So I put in 2 easels, a seat, and a light. I think that's about it. If you see me stop, by the way, like pause building for a sec, it's probably just because somebody was talking to me and I had to reply. And again, putting in one of these really fancy lantern thingies that we have a few of around the place. And then we finally go over to this building. I wanted a break from all the landscaping, kind of, so I changed it up by doing the inside of this building. So we start off with some basic, simple bathrooms. There's nothing too special about them, other than they have red doors in them for some reason. I just figured it fit with the idea that we've been going with. And then I realized I put this concrete in the kitchen, and I'm pretty sure they've added different colors of concrete in the latest patch. Or I've just missed it in previous patches, but I'm pretty sure they've added new colors, which is, I don't know, they keep doing this, right? There's an update before a new stuff pack or game pack or expansion pack comes out, and there's just new recolors of things, and I think it's just great. It's not mentioned anywhere or anything, you just notice it when you're building and you go, I'm pretty sure this wasn't here before. But yeah, new concrete colors, and it works. Previously this building had a really fun kind of pattern in the kitchen, and I kind of just wanted to keep some of the different colors in there. I ended up putting a tiny window in there because it was cute, putting some shelves there. And it's a fairly simple kitchen. I didn't put too much in it because it's kind of an industrial kitchen, I guess. We put in a fancy coffee maker, we put in a microwave, we have double stove, double fridge, double dishwasher, just because this is kind of a wedding venue in a way, like a wedding venue / park. I figured having a proper kitchen in there would be a good idea. And then going around, putting some tables around with some chairs, nothing too special. I considered using some of the tables from the luxury party stuff pack, I think it's called, but I realized that I don't think I've used anything from that pack so far, so I didn't want to use it just for the tables. When there's base game tables that kind of look the same, or at least work in the same way with it having an actual tablecloth. So I stuck with that. Now we're putting in these lights, putting them together, and they look kind of Asian. Putting some bamboo around, putting some lights around. I love the lotus candle holder, so cute. Again, putting some small decorations up here as well. It's kind of dark and gloomy inside, but I guess you can say it's also very dark and just, I don't know, it's an atmosphere, you know? All the candles instead of proper lights gives some kind of atmosphere. But yeah, I figured that was nice. It was fine. If it's a park, I don't think you're supposed to be there too much at night anyways. So yeah, it works. And then just going around and trying to finish off this big pond-like thing that we have here. I don't know what to refer to it as, but it works. And as I said, putting a bit of a fountain feature behind the wedding arch because I thought it was cute. So again, putting in more water lilies and just some plants and fountains. I end up deleting a few of the water features because there was too much in it. And instead I end up putting in some of these candles, from the lotus candles that float on water. I think I've already done it, but I didn't quite see it, so it might have been too quick to really catch up with it. And as you see, the landscaping is quite simple. It's literally the same thing over and over again, basically. But it works. I could have made it more fancy, but I didn't want to. I kind of like the consistency of using just a few different lights. A few different plants, not lights. I see myself placing lights, so I say lights. It doesn't make any sense, but there we go. And again, just finishing off that landscaping there, and I realized we need some more things in here. I found these things from the whatever pack, backyard stuff pack, I think, which are pretty cute, so I put those in. Some chess tables and some monkey bars made sense to me in a park, so put those in, put some terrain paint in there, and then just finishing things off with some landscaping again. Just some here at the crossing like we did on the other side, and then just putting a few random bits of landscaping in, which I think just finished the entire build off. I think I ended up realizing that I forgot something, so I fixed that in the end, but I think I thought I was done. I placed some blocks, fixed it, look at it in nighttime, realized that we should put some lanterns above the wedding arch, and then I realized I forgot to finish off this part of the pond, so I did so really quickly before taking some screenshots. So here we are. If you like this, there will be a download link in the description for the renovated build. I'm not sure quite how you can place it, because it's a special one, but it should be fine anyways. But yeah, if you want to see me build something in particular, let me know down below. Also renovations, if there's something you want to renovate, a build of yours, a build in the game, let me know. I'm always up for suggestions. And that's it, so I will talk to you next time. Bye guys!